Hi there, this is live from the Philippines and in a town called Los Baños, which is we're probably about an hour out of Manila, and I'm working at the International Rice Research Institute, which is part of the University of the Philippines. I'm going to show you around. I'm sitting at the terrace at the moment, which is part of the guest house or guest quarters, where some of the international delegates and staff sometimes come and work. So I've been a guest here this week, and I thought I would show you around. So if you look out, so this is part of the community here. So this is where a lot of the researchers live, or perhaps some of the academics that work here who are on assignment. So they're often here for, a few years at a time. They have things like the pool, and they've got tennis courts down there and things like that. It's very tropical. It's quite warm today. It probably isn't as humid today as it has been, but it is quite warm and hot. And I've had a really incredible week. I'm sitting out here, out on the terrace. I'm making my notes and getting through my report for the week. And I thought I would share with you, I've probably watched, I think I've watched well over 40 presentations in the last week. And I've seen some incredible presentations. I've seen some incredible people, and it's one of the most fulfilling parts of my work. And this week I've worked with rice researchers, so people who are experts at growing rice, people who are experts at creating entrepreneurial farmers in communities and helping lift people from poverty through to prosperity. Most of their money comes from donors who are philanthropic families, and also organisations and individual donors, and then organisations who collaborate and invest to create really innovative type practices. So it's not just really poor people, but it's also being able to work with communities to create innovation and thriving economic activity in those communities and take them through to prosperity. This stuff takes generations to do, and people like Bill Gates and Melinda Gates donate a lot of their money and to here, because around 70% of the world's population eat rice. But particularly those communities who really who live in poverty, who really have no money at all. And rice research, I've learned so much about the nutritional value of rice and just what that means for different communities around the world. They develop things like flood-proof rice. Can you imagine how that keeps a community alive? And that flood-proof rice can survive for things like 3 months. And 2/3 of the rice in Southeast Asia was developed here in these grounds, and so there are rice paddy fields and all sorts of things where they're doing a lot of research and testing. But one of the things that I worked with, one of the people I worked with this week was a Vietnamese guy, and he was absolutely hilarious. His presentation that he did, he knew how to connect with the audience. And it was just his natural style, though. It wasn't that he was formally trained or anything like that. He was just really naturally a connector, and he connects through his humility and his humour. And we were doing some coaching afterwards, and he said, I feel a bit weird sometimes with my humour. He said, these people know me, so this is kind of okay. But he said, but when I'm at a conference, and this guy's a world-leading expert in weed management, so to be able to reduce the amount of weeds so that the rice can get through, and so that means that they can cultivate the rice and then people can live. And he said, one of the things that when I am speaking, he said, I feel a little bit embarrassed by my humour. He said, sometimes people think I'm a bit weird, and he said, I feel like I have to kind of conform and do it the way that everybody else does. My advice to him was that his humour is what connects with the audience. His humour is what connects and helps them to understand what he's saying. He had some amazing stories that were really funny, that were really simple, but they really made the point. And so my advice to him was, just be more of you, because I think it was Matt Church, who's written the book Amplify, he says you've got to be you amplified. And for him to be able to get his message through, his humour and his humility, the more that people can understand, the more that he can influence and get them to take action, which means that then he's able to go on and get them to change their lives and to be able to save lives in the work that they do. So my challenge to you would be this week is, are there areas that in your life that perhaps you hold back on because you're not validated, or people don't say that's great. It's really hard to have the courage to be yourself and bring out your uniqueness when sometimes not everyone around you is telling you it's amazing. It's important that you get the right feedback from the right people and who are experts in their field. But perhaps just think about, is there something that's holding you back being yourself? Because the more that you can be yourself, the more that you're going to be able to connect, engage, and influence and help those people who need your help. And more importantly, give you the confidence and the courage to keep going. So I look forward to seeing you when I'm back in Australia, and have a fantastic weekend.